Hi everyone and welcome back. Can you believe it's April already? Because I cannot. It's gone by very quickly. So I think now is the time for me to share with you my top 10 of Eurovision 2023. So like I always say, this is my top 10 before the final, before the live show, so things can change after that. I don't think my winner will change. I think my number one will stay as my number one, but it's a very diverse top 10. I've got a little bit of everything in there. I usually do. My taste in music is just a bit of everything, like little bits here and there, all piled into one. So I've got a few different things in this top 10, some countries that I usually have in my top 10, and some that I don't. So yeah, it's a bit of everything. Like I've said before, I do think that this year is a really, really good year. I know we say that every year pretty much, but it's a really strong year, I think. When I think of it, I think it could be maybe even better than last year. Maybe I need to think into that a little bit more, but it has crossed my mind that this could be even better than last year. Maybe I'll have a deeper look into that, I think. But for now, I think I should share with you my top 10. And this has changed a little bit. I've moved a few things down, a few things up. And my number 10, my 10th place, is something that I have moved down a little bit. And it's the UK, May Muller. So this, I think, at one point was higher. It was like my number 5 at one point, and then I thought, okay, I don't, love it that much. I am gonna move it down a little bit, but still keep it in my top 10. So it's the UK, following on from Sam Ryder. I think we've done a great job because this is very popular, not just with UK fans, but with fans from other countries as well, which is the important thing. Yeah, a lot of people really like this, and for the UK, for the UK entry, it's actually quite modern and current. Like, it's one of the most modern songs we've sang for a really long time. It's been on the radio in the UK. I think it was in the charts as well, the UK top 40 charts. So yeah, there's nothing to be embarrassed about here at all. I think we are very proud of this yet again. So heading in the right direction. I mean, it's not going to do as well as Sam Ryder. Some people are predicting a top 10 for this. I'm not sure, really. I think it could do okay. But even something like 15th place is good. Like, that's not a disappointment at all to get, like, bottom of the left-hand side of the board. Like, for our standards, that's still good. So I don't think people should be disappointed if we don't get top 10. I think it could do fairly well. Chorus is really catchy. Probably my favourite bit of the song. I quite like the spoken word bit as well. Although she's been performing at pre-parties and she changed it a little bit. I'm not quite sure why. It sounds better in the original. And then when it was released on Spotify, the spoken word bit wasn't actually in there at first, but now she has released that, and I think I prefer that version. The music video is really good as well. I just hope it comes across well live. I hope she sings it well live. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do it and the concept that they have on stage. But yeah, I think it's a really good entry for us. And May is having a lot of fun by the looks of it. So yeah, it's very British and very current. Makes me think a little bit of Becky Hill, Mimi Webb. So yeah, very current actually. So yeah, good job. And now my number 9 is Iceland. I've talked about this a little bit before. It's Power by Diljau. So I know now that her name is pronounced Diljau, and not do we are. And I've always said that I've found this to be a bit underrated, actually, a little bit underappreciated. Like, and it made me think, I talked about this before in my semi-final videos about how the semi-finals are televote only and there's no juries. And that makes me a bit worried for Iceland and the Netherlands as well, because I don't know if the public will push her through, but I'd imagine it would be something that juries would like. So hopefully that won't be a problem and it will still qualify, because I think it deserves to, because her voice is amazing. I mean, I'm not an expert in singing or vocal ability at all, but to me, I feel like she's got one of the best vocals of the year, like from anyone. And maybe that's why I think it's been a little bit underrated. But yeah, I know you could say, oh, it's like a basic pop song, but for some reason I've always really liked it. I just find it really powerful, energetic, and I love her voice. It's, you know, such a good voice, and yeah, I like it enough to have it in my top 10. My number 8 is Moldova. I love this. This is so good. To me, it's like the Fuleng of the year, because it's very like folklore and rock and roll, like spiritual, mystical, almost like pagan-like. Yeah, I've said in my reaction video, it's very pagan-like, and I like that, you know, I like this whole spiritual, occult themes. I usually tend to like that sort of thing, so this is perfect for me. The chorus is so catchy and addictive, and then you've got that dance break. It's just got like a modern feel as well. That's why it makes me think a little bit of Fulen last year, maybe a little bit of Go A as well. It's going to be great live. It already has been great live with the performances he's done at the pre-parties. So yeah, I think this is great for Moldova. One of their best, actually. I mean, Moldova are usually actually really good at Eurovision. They're very good at staging. They've got a lot of very diverse, colourful entries. And this is actually, it's a bit more serious compared to some of the others, but really good. So it could be one of their best, actually. But then I really loved last year as well. Number 7 for me is Italy, Marco Mengoni. So Italy is pretty much my favourite, or one of my favourite countries in Eurovision. So they're always in my top 10, and sometimes, well, actually, yeah, usually even higher than my top 10, as in my favourite overall. So this is still good, you know, to be 7th place. And I mentioned in my last video about Estonia and about how that actually stands out quite a lot, because there's not that many ballads this year. It's the same for Italy. I think this stands out a lot as well, because we don't have that many ballads. So it's not like last year where we had quite a lot of them. This year there's not that many, so it does make it stand out in a good way. I think some people might not like this that much because it's another Italian ballad, like a typical Italian ballad, so people might find that boring, which I do get, you know, okay, fair enough, but it's what they're good at. Italy are great at ballads like Fai Rumore, Brividi, and this is yet another good one. So I don't have a problem with that. I think this is a really nice ballad, and it is very traditional Italian, but I love it. I love his voice. I really like the build up to the chorus. It's like a sort of like a fast build up to the chorus, and then the chorus itself is really powerful. It's one of those like power anthem ballads that you really belt out. And yeah, I think it's another great option for Italy. They can do go wrong. And I don't know if people might not be expecting this, or some people might, but I think this will do very well, with jury especially. I wouldn't be surprised to see Italy in their usual top 5, top 10 position. I think it could end up doing just as well as last year, Brividi, and this will probably be performed better live than Brividi as well, so it could do even better. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all to see this quite high on the scoreboard, and I think it deserves to. They've also revealed the 3-minute version, the Eurovision version of the song, because it was originally over 3 minutes. And luckily, I think they've done actually quite a good job with cutting it down to 3 minutes. They haven't missed out any of the good bits. They've kept all the best bits in there and still kept it 3 minutes. So I think they've done a good job with the revamp as well. Next up, I've got the Netherlands, Burning Daylight. I really love this. I've always been a big fan of this, and it's always been high up there in my ranking. I've never really moved it down at all. So I love this. Probably my favourite ballad of the year, along with Italy. But yeah, this I don't know why, I'm just a huge fan of this. Maybe it's the voices. I think the voices work really well together. Chorus flows really nicely. And yeah, I really like it. I will say it's another song that I'm worried about qualifying along with Iceland, unfortunately, but I really hope it does. I think it deserves to. And there's not many other ballads in semi-final 1, so hopefully that means it can stand out. It's got that Common Lingettes kind of vibe. Yeah, I really hope it goes through. Makes me think a little bit, this might be why I love it, because it makes me think a little bit of Monsters and Men, and they're like one of my favourite bands. I love them. So maybe it gives me that kind of vibe, which I really like. Yeah, maybe that's why I love it. But the Netherlands have done a great job yet again, I think. So we've reached the top 5 already. Well, here we go. My number 5 is Tattoo, Sweden, from the one and only Loreen, Eurovision icon and legend, who just happens to be back this year, casually. One of the favourites to win, of course, could be the winner. I will be filming soon my Sweden versus Finland video, because it looks like, you know, one of them will probably win. So I'm looking forward to talking more about that. That'll be interesting, so look out for that. But yeah, so it's my number 5, which I think is still good. You know, a lot of people have this as their number 1. I'm just being honest, you know, and realistic. You know, yeah, I like it, but it's not my personal winner. But I really like it. I like the song. I really like the chorus. That's like my favourite bit, is the chorus. Staging, of course, is amazing. I think the staging is what makes it so good. Without that, I don't know if it would be as epic. Although I've heard that the staging it might have to change for Liverpool, because they might not be able to physically have that roof and the floor that she's in between on the stage. So I don't know if they're having problems with that, if they'll have to change it, or maybe they won't have to in the end. But yeah, so it could be a slightly different staging, but I'm sure it'll still be good, and they'll find a way to work around it. I will say the lyrics are very predictable and basic, but I do like the melody of the song. I think it's very epic and anthemic, almost like Euphoria in a way, but just a different sound. So yeah, it's going to be a very epic performance, and I think it will still be a favourite to win on the night of the final. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So my number 4, we're going straight from Sweden to Norway, right next door, another Nordic country. And the Nordic countries this year are doing so well. Like this year is ruled by the Nordic countries. And I think there'll be 3 Nordic countries in the top 10 or top 5, maybe even actually. So this is Queen of the Kings by Alessandra, winner of Melody Grand Prix. There was a point like a few weeks ago where I actually moved it down a little bit because I thought, oh, it's been out for a while now, maybe I'm getting a little bit bored, and other songs have come out since then. But then I listened to it again, I thought, actually, no, like, no matter how long it's been out for, I still really like it, and it still deserves to be in my top 5. It's so energetic and lively, and the chorus just flows so well. And then you've got that sort of medieval dance break towards the end, the whistle note. You've got in the lyrics, you've got references to the Northern Lights. It's just so, like, there's so many things that come together really nicely. And I like how in the live version, she's got that Italian operatic introduction. So hopefully she'll have that in the Eurovision version as well. I think with an even better staging than MGP, this will look really epic, and I can see it doing very, very well. Maybe not win, but high in both jury and televote, enough to do maybe top 5. So we've arrived at the top 3. So my number 3 and my number 2, I've actually swapped round at the last minute, like a few days ago. But then it could change back over again. It's just how it stands right now. So my number 3 is Czechia Vesna. And this was my number 2 for like the whole time. Like it's always been my second favourite. I've moved it down just one place only because, and again, this could change for the better, hopefully, but it's only because the live performances they've been doing has made me think, can they actually pull this off live? Like, the studio version is amazing. I love it. I always have. I've loved this song ever since I first heard it. Literally the moment I heard it, I loved it straight away. It's always been a favourite of mine. But there is something that's making me think, can they pull it off live? Hopefully they can. But I'm starting to think, will it be as good as the studio version? Hopefully. Because the studio version has always been amazing. My favourite thing about the whole song has always been that chorus. Like, that chorus is just so powerful, especially towards the end where they do like an a cappella chorus in the bridge of the song, and that just gives me goosebumps. Like, that's so powerful. I hope that comes across well live as well. I think it's actually the best Czech entry ever. I really do. I mean, there's not that many of them over the years, but I think it is the best, and hopefully it'll get the best result if they can pull it off live with good staging, good vocals, and really get that powerful chorus across, hopefully. So that means my number 2 is Austria. Who the hell is Edgar? And who would have thought that we'd ever get a song in Eurovision about Edgar Allan Poe? Like, that's never happened before, and it's not what you'd expect. It's absolutely, I mean, it's bonkers, but it's so clever. Like, it's actually really clever. The meaning and the lyrics, yeah, they talk about Edgar Allan Poe, but overall it's about making music and the struggles of making money through music. So the lyrics are actually really clever, but it's put into a really fun song Like, it's not what you'd expect, but you can't help but really enjoy it. I'm very intrigued to see how they do this live and what the staging will actually be like, because we still don't know. In fact, Austria and Czechia are the two that I'm most intrigued to find out about staging. So let's hope that Austria can pull this off as well. I'm just thinking, like, will it be like the video with like the office theme? Or will it be like Victorian Gothic Edgar Allan Poe? Like, what will it actually be like? I have no idea. I love the choreography as well. In the video, the cute little choreography. Will they do that on stage? Who knows? But it's just so, like, strange, but in a very good way. And it's so much fun. I love it. So here we go. That means my favourite of the year hasn't changed at all. It's always been a clear favourite of mine. It's Finland, Karja, Cha Cha Cha. I'd love this to win, honestly. It's so cool that we've got something like this in Eurovision, like a mix of heavy metal, but also rap, rock, pop, dance, like everything. It's got that electric callboy feel to it. It's been compared to that a lot as well. And it's just so, I mean, it's crazy, it's party, of course. It's just so much fun, so different. Like I said, like we don't really get stuff like this, so it's so cool that we've got something like this and as a potential favourite to win as well. And I hope it does. I'm going to vote for this a lot. I'm going to talk about this in my Sweden and Finland video. I am rooting for Karja and Finland to win Eurovision 2023. I mean, you've got the song in general, which I love. I listen to it like every day and I never get bored. But then you've got Karja himself and his personality and charm and charisma. I mean, I love him. I think everyone loves him. Like, we've all fallen in love with Karja. He's like my crush of the year. I always have at least one. This year, it's Karja. So for him to win, that would be really nice as well. When I watched the UMK final, and when you can hear the audience shouting Cha Cha Cha, it gives me goosebumps. And to think that it'll be even bigger than that in the Liverpool arena, I honestly can't wait to see it live and to hear the crowd chanting that. Like, it's going to be really special, and it will come across on TV as well, just how loud the crowd are, hopefully. So yeah, this is my favourite, and I think Finland in general have done a really good job with UMK. So I think they are building towards a win, definitely. This will be the televote winner, I think. Not sure about overall winner, even though I really want it to, but you've got Loreen there, you know. That could be a problem for him, but you've got my support, Finland. Definitely, I love this. So there we go. That is my top 10, and that is my winner, my favourite of the year. I like everything in this top 10 and outside as well, actually. Like I said, you know, I really like the quality of this year. Loads of really good songs, and can't wait to start watching the rehearsals and eventually the live performances. Can't wait. So let me know what you think of my top 10. Do you share any of these placements and opinions? If you've got a completely different winner, feel free to let me know. So thank you for watching, and feel free to share with me your top 10 if you like. I'd love to see that and see how different they all are. And I'll be back very soon for my winners prediction video, which I'm calling Sweden versus Finland, pretty much. So look forward to that. But until then, thank you for watching and subscribing. See you very soon. Bye.